In the name of God, the first English immigrants landed off the coast of Virginia in honor of Queen Victoria. But before the British, the Spaniards, the Dutch, and the French had entered the United States and established a colony. In the race to conquer new lands, the small island of English was behind. But Britain became the world's largest colonizer. The British destroyed the navies of Spain and the Netherlands in a series of wars in the 17th. The British took Florida from Spain and New Amsterdam from the Netherlands and renamed it New York. In 1750, the French were the only rivals of the British in North America. The French occupied Canada to the large lake and from the Ohio Valley to Louisiana. Many people, even the space-loving Benjamin Franklin, warned the British that for the security of the colonies must drive the French out of North America, and that led to the 7 Years' War. After occupying the Ohio and Louisiana, the British discovered areas north of the Great Lakes. The French had access to large areas north of the Great Lakes via Newfoundland Bay and the St. Lawrence River. The French fortress of Louisburg at the mouth of Newfoundland Bay prevented invaders from entering. On June 2, 1758, a British fleet besieged Fort Louisburg. Another British fleet in the Atlas prevented any reinforcement from entering. Finally, on June 26, 1758, the fortress for Louisburg surrounded and the way was paved for British troops enter Canada. On September 7th, 1760, the French governor of Canada, Mr. Cavaniel, surrendered and Canada became a British colony. The British breathed a sigh of relief as the French were expelled from North America. But they did not know that by doing so, they had prepared the ground for revolt and independence for the people of the colonies. The people of the colonies who did not need the troops of George III to defend themselves refused to pay double taxes. The story began with a stamp tax. George III taxed export shipment from the colonies and legal and postal documents. Many people protested against this cruel tax. Public anger rose, and even America virgins made it a condition of marriage for their suitors not to follow the stamp law. The first revolt took place in 1774 in Boston. From 1774 to 1775, there were other revolts in the states that were severely suppressed. The representatives of the colonies dedicated to convene and assembly in Philadelphia to deal with the support of the French government. The second assembly adopted the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776. Britain saw the Declaration of Independence as a declaration of war, and more troops entered the United States. Conflict with the British Army was a suicide sentence for experienced colonial soldiers. But the love of independence and freedom led to the victory of the colonies over the powerful British Army. Finally, with the signing of the peace treaty between the United States and Britain in France in 1783, American independence was recognized. We will explain in the next video why the French spent their money and blood on American independence. Continue.